Hello, everybody. This is Josh with Speak Good Human, the free animal communication practice site. And I'm really excited to bring you a pretty cool, interesting, fascinating topic today, a live webinar with Keri Davis called Reconnecting to Your Intuition. And this is something that is so dear to everybody's hearts because we all have this intuition that we are supposed to be able to use and guide us through life and make great decisions and be more aligned with our own hearts and desires and dreams. And what happens over the years is different traumas and fears and experiences and memories and all sorts of things just start eroding our intuition, clouding it, and making it a lot less clear and useful to us. And Keri, who we will see in just a moment, is such a great person to be talking about this because she's made it her life's path to explore such things. She is a certified interspecies life awareness coach. She's an animal communicator. She's been for 20 years or more. She's also an expert on quantum physics, and that's where this whole field comes into play. She's also has a degree in holistic health sciences. It emphasizes the quantum physics healing aspect of that. She has extensive training in mind mapping, neurofeedback, and a dozen other healing modalities. So she really knows her stuff. And she's been a huge supporter of Speak Good Human over the years. And you can see her work and her contributions all throughout, from the Ask the Pros to quantum field connection to Dear Student and meditations, all sorts of stuff you'll see all over the place. And today she's going to be talking about her latest passion and her expertise in intuition. So please welcome Keri Davis. Hello,
Hi,
Keri.
good morning, or good morning, good afternoon, wherever people are.
We are broadcasting from West Coast North America, so for us it's morning, but for everybody else it could be afternoon, evening, or even tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true too, for our Aussie friends.
Yes. So Keri, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that I'm interested in, but I'll try to leave it up to you to guide how you'd like to present this. What I would like to know is, when we're born, what can we expect from our intuition? How can we expect it to be working right out of the gate when we're born, when nothing else has contributed to, eroding it or confusing it or anything like that?
Well, I think I'll answer that, but I think I'm just going to start a little bit of an intro with this instead of just diving in.
Okay.
What I have noticed over the years, and it's sort of evolved this way, I didn't plan on this, but I had to get to understanding what was behind all this sort of vagueness and grayness, and what are we actually communicating with, and what is it? So I think it's really, in a simple sense, it's kind of like me trying to work through my neighbor's TV set. If I sometimes don't really understand kind of our wiring, like what our TV set is and how it's wired, we're randomly just hitting this and we're moving there, and we don't really know that we're doing it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So what I've been delving into, like the neuroscience has always been a really big passion, and the interconnectedness with the mind, body, and somatic work. And because I get a lot of clients that come to me, and I've seen it with sensitives and empaths and intuitives, whatever word you want to call it. We have a lot of trauma that's in our body. And when we have trauma, if we understand our wiring, until we're ready to let that surface and have a voice, it stays dormant. It's not that it isn't doing anything, but it keeps us almost numb. It keeps us we can't access. So a lot of times it's like we're trying to access communication at my neighbor's house instead of being in what this is. We still are receiving through how we were wired. Whether we like it or not, that is what's happening. So this is the latest information in neurobiology and such. And it's like, if we really understand, when we are a baby, when we first come in, that we have what they call expectant synapses. So they haven't been formed yet. And as a baby, say, Josh, you are the first time seeing a cat, you're not going by an old program. You're truly just experiencing the cat. And that's what we're so desperate to get to. So we are just noticing, what it looks like, what it smells like, and just all the different things that come with that. But we're not conscious of it. It is happening. And then it is getting put into our synaptic connections. It's forming a connection, like we plug the TV set in. And then it's going up into the brain stem. And then it's going up into the limbic system, which is where all our memories are stored. It's where a lot of our trauma responses are triggered. And then it's going up into our latest development as humans or mammals is our neurocortex, which is sort of more what we would state as our declarative mind, where, hi, my name's Keri, your name's Josh. So it's doing it's actually going from down to up in its processing. Okay, so is this making sense so far? Stop me if I'm rambling. Okay.
Oh, good.
And then we become adults. So just to retract there. So around the age of 6 years old, our brain then prunes. It prunes. It has to prune a lot of information, or we would go insane. So what we're negatively biased. So to survive on this planet, we have a tendency to keep the connections that keep us safe, even though it's not real, but there's perceived threat. So we now have been pruned, and now we're up as an adult and we see a cat. Okay, where do you think that is being pulled from? Do you think it's being pulled like when we were a baby? Or do you think it's being pulled from up here?
Right, up there after it's been, pruned. So you don't know I guess if you only had positive experiences with cats, then you'd still be okay, even though you still would have preconceived ideas.
You got it. We're a preconceived machine. So then what we're doing without being conscious of this and aware of this, so we're accessing from cat, not saying we do this consciously. This is happening with or without us. And then we are, it's picking up into the limbic system, our emotions, our memories of the amygdala, which can send alarm bells like, oh my God, or it's okay. And then it trickles down into our brain stem, which is our oldest mammalian brain. And then it goes down and sends the signals into whether we're safe or whether we're not. So we're accessing old information. So what does that spell out to you when we sit there and we're so desperately trying to connect to another?
Well, to me, based on what you've just said, it's almost like instead of watching something live, you're watching it from a recording and expecting to interact with that recording, which you can't really. It's not the same thing. So I would feel very hampered. I would think, based on what you said, I can't get where I want to go, even though I desperately want to.
Yeah, so then just to having that awareness. So if you look at this now, we'll take it one step further, is that we are a complex system. And I won't get into it, it's quite an in-depth subject, but we're patterns, we're systems, and systems are always having a feedback loop. It's like our thermostat on our furnace. If you live in North America, in Canada, you're always receiving feedback. Okay, it's cold, click it in, and the heat goes on. Oh, it's too hot. And so we are operating very similar to that. So then with the feedback loop, we're always trying to integrate as these complex systems. So when we are out of integration, that happens all the time until we become aware of it, we can integrate that much quicker. But integration comes in two forms. So you'll see patterns of rigidity or chaos, or the combination of both. So rigidity would look like, okay, how would you say this? It's kind of black and white thinking. Well, this means this or that means that. There's sort of no gray. Well, they meant this. So that means that I need to feel like this. And I need to do that. Or we become depressed. We become very shut down. We can become very just rigid, really. And that can extend into our animal communication. Well, I tuned into Toby and this means this and that means that. So key, if you're doing that, you are accessing just the old, not integrated program, okay? Uh-huh. Now, chaos would look like, say, manic type response, running from one thing to the next, or there's a lot of drama around what you do. There's a lot of anxiety sometimes with chaos. So we go in and out of both. So just to be aware that these are two sort of flags that can tell us that we're not integrated. So when we're not integrated, we're not truly just being that infinite gain and just sensing in like we say we're doing in animal communication. Right. Because no matter what, that dog or that horse or that being isn't sending a thing on the computer going, send. Are they getting it? We are just perceiving that frequency. So are we able to, we have to differentiate. We have to become ourselves enough to then link. If we are all polluted into trying, and where's the information? Where's the, like, we're not differentiating. So it's like we are at a counselor's session, and the counselor has no identity. So he's just projecting, and they're projecting back, and it's just a big slew instead of just seeing the client for what they are, where they're at, and not trying to fix them. It's truly, there's a presence, and that's what the baby had. They had presence, but they didn't have to work at being present.
Okay.
So what does that sound like to you so far from that explanation?
It sounds like a big challenge to try to get through all those years of learned behavior, learned patterns that have really taken us so far away from where we want to be. And I'm hoping you're going to say there's hope and we can get back to a place where we can just connect in the moment in a true way, not in a pre-recorded way.
Okay, so then just knowing about integration or not being integrated is integration.
Okay.
Just me giving you this awareness gives you a tool of, oh, I am just going to practice just like somatic work, like touching, like getting the energy flow from your pads even, and getting those circuits of healers, what we do, and just just touching, like just even slapping even your hand, getting your body awaking, getting it connected, getting back into this vessel that we become spiritually bypassed. And I've done it for years too, until I had to deal with my PTSD, which I had no idea about. Um, and what is so profound when we start integrating with both and feeling back in, coming back into our vessel, which is how we can connect to just sensing. And then we link, we can truly link. So there's a lot, I work with a lot of my clients are, that's the path that has been shown to work. And
Okay.
that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this, because there's so much miscommunication. Like people, well, what's the mind? What's the brain? What's the body? What is all this stuff? What does it mean? So just understanding sort of the basics, that is integration. It's not trying to fix yourself all the time. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So sense into your body for me, Josh, and tell me the first place that you get hit with that feels maybe just a funny feeling or tense or yucky or whatever.
Probably my center area.
Okay. So just allow that to be pulled forward, like you are, you, Josh, now that I'm talking to at your age. You are pulling this because it's old stuff. We're going to pull it forward like you are the counselor in front and this stuff is in the chair across from you, kind of like the patient.
Okay.
And you are just looking, being, you aren't trying to fix this. You're just giving them space to share or to just be, to experience feeling safe, to feeling heard. What are you experiencing? Just, I know it's tough on
Yeah.
an interview like this, but what was the first? It's that boom. It's immediate.
You mean what? Well, the kind of the message that I sort of felt when you explained that to me and said, try to do this, was just, oh, what? It's my turn. So it's like the real me, the whatever, the heart center, wherever I'm talking about, finally said, oh, you're done with all that other stuff, and now it's actually my turn to communicate and be me.
Yeah, and that needs to be given space to be heard. And that's, you've probably heard of somatic work. It's huge. And it's like we can't differentiate between Fifi and us unless we can actually turn our own TV set on and hang out and watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're so busy spiritually hijacking. Oh, we need to take this now so we can feel at peace and serenity. And we need to go here, and then that will give us, then enlightenment will give us this. But we're hijacking from, this is the vessel that we receive, and we integrate within those wonderful things.
Yeah. I assume that it takes some time to train yourself to go to that place rather than the one we've been going to for so many years. So would that include actively taking yourself out of that old place and putting yourself in the new place, or just reminding yourself about the new place?
Anyone that really wants to delve in, I would suggest like working with a professional, or this is what I do a lot of, to really get to the root of what, because I get the people that go, they've done everything and they're
Right.
so frustrated, right? So that's what I hear over and over. And everybody's so unique. So that's why I work so one-on-one. But to answer your question, for people to do this on their own, it's not, see, like, let me put you on the spot here. So did you notice your response? Was your response a little bit rigid or chaotic?
Um,
When you said, how do I do this? Or is it like this? Or is it like
oh,
that?
well, that's probably, well, rigid because I'm looking for a way, a pathway forward. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rigidity at its best. So that's your system recalibrating, going, I'm not feeling balanced right now.
Okay.
Okay, so that's information. So this is what's cool about it is when we go, oh my God. So as soon as we jump into, is this mean that? This means that, we are no longer in here. We're just accessing, how do I figure this out?
Okay. Well, let me ask you, because I see this a lot. I see people adding things to their routines more and more and more and more, thinking it's going to give them more clarity. It's sort of not for me. It doesn't work for me to add more and more. I
No.
prefer simple, but and maybe it works for people out there. I don't know, but like crystals and pendulums and tarot cards and all sorts of stuff that people use to interpret and communicate and all that. Are you saying that could take you away, that's more of the rigidity that you're talking about?
Well, it depends on how they use it.
Okay.
If it's just integrated, then that's fine. But if this means this and that means that, and I've got to do it like this or that, then I go, oh my God, what step am I on? Am I on step 1 or am I on step 10?
Right.
That's coming from here down. So it's kind of like you can use those things. So it's like, oh, I've done a zillion trainings, but what I do is I put it on the shelf kind of thing. And then just show up like, okay, I like what we just did with that little exercise, having that right in front. So if I'm connecting to a dog or a cat, it's first of all, am I able just to sense into myself?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I running to get everything that's in my book of protocols and this and that so I can access? There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a shift. So I am not ruling out any of that. That's okay. Is when you get to a place where you've done something enough and then you don't need the book anymore.
Yes.
You go, okay, there's a letting go. There's a letting go. There's a trust that's coming from a different space. Then so is this like, it's so hard to put this stuff into words.
Well,
but
no, because I come across that example a lot, and I always liken it to somebody learning a piece of music. They might take 3 months to practice a piece of music and go over and over and over the different parts and get all the nuances right. But after a while, they've integrated it. They don't need to look at the sheet music anymore. They don't need to think about it anymore. They just let it go, and they can actually feel the music through them. And I think that's the place that you're talking about.
You got it. Yeah. And I, like you said, and they integrate it. And that's exactly the language that we just need to look at with what is happening in our loop. So how would I put this? If you were then, say, going into, okay, I've got this here, I've got that there, I've got everything set up, and now I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Now, that's okay if you can do it from a place where it's not rigid. Like, oh my God, if I don't have this or that there, then I can't do it.
Right.
That's getting into this or that, and we're in rigidity and it's not integrated.
Got it.
Okay. But there's a place where, okay, I got it here, got it there. Great. So it's just is. It's kind of
Yeah.
like you've got your music in front if need be.
Right.
Right.
Or the camera that we have in front of us to record this, we're not thinking about it. Maybe at first we thought, oh, do we have everything correct? Is this on? Is that on? But then we let it go and then we let it do its thing, and we're not even thinking about it now.
So good practices, and I can walk you through maybe, and I want to keep this simple because I think we're so addicted as well that we have to own for 5 hours to get into a state. So for example, Josh and whoever, is there anyone on listening to this call? Can you tell? Like, is there?
You won't be able to talk to them, but they can type in the comment section.
I just didn't know with our time, in the morning, if people access.
It's possible that we lose a lot of people at this hour, but they'll come back and maybe not see it live, but they'll see it later. So,
which is great. No difference, no time.
Yeah. But if anybody is watching right now and you do have any questions or responses to what Keri's saying, please feel free to put it in the comment section and we'll definitely address it.
Because what I would just something as simple as just close your eyes, Josh, and whoever's on the call or in the future here, and just imagine that you're biting into a lemon and you can taste the lemon and the juice. What do you notice?
It's sour, and that's all I'm focused on because it's so sour.
Yeah, you didn't have to work at it.
No, not at all.
It's there. It's there. So it's just a reminder to people, when we truly just get into the senses of things, it's not something that we have to work at. So there are exercises, different things that we can do. So it's like if you even look at it even on a wheel, circle like this, or that looks a bit weird. Anyways, you get the gist.
Yeah.
I'm backwards on my computer. And so you've got the rim. So you've got your 5 senses. So that's your typical 5 senses. And then we go to our 6th sense, which is really about, so I'll just backtrack. The 5 senses are kind of external coming in. So big one in animal communication. And then we move to the 6th, where we are into the interior. So what we're talking about, like our cells, our organs, our endocrine system, our intestines, you get the gist. That is communicating, but it's sort of inward more so. And then we move into our next sense, and we're really looking at the connection with, how do you put it? It's a hard one to how do I put this? It's the best way to describe it is mental activities, but it's noticing the process in which your mental activities come in. So you may be trying to just sense and you notice, oh, I forgot the dishwasher, or that's going. But then notice if there's a space in between the thoughts, or if it's just a big, long, drawn out bunch of chatter. So it's not to make it right or wrong. It's just to notice that these are operating. These are our operating system. Let's work with them. And then we go into the 8th. And this is what I would call kind of more the hub. And that is the inside. You remember the old wagon wheels? That was where the axle would be. Everything turns from that. Everything is connected. And that would be like kind of more the quantum field, that quantum vacuum where everything is. There's possibilities. There's nothing but everything. It's the interconnectedness. It's the relationships as well with others, but it's but it's not something that you work at. It's just a space for interconnectedness. And that's what they really, call the field of possibilities. And there's anything can go by just our focus. Okay. And just enjoying that space. So does that kind of
be a
little bit of a scope on that?
How would you know that you're actually in that space?
Okay, well, this is the practice. So why don't I just walk you through? And I've got like just a few little points so I don't lose my head. My head's a little bit on holiday mode. I was away for a few days. So I thought I'll just walk you through or take you through. I think I've got something here. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I will invite everybody just trust the process. If you feel like I'm not getting any of it or not going where she is, that's okay. It's just don't bring in the rigidity if you do. Just notice, oh, I can't do it like Josh does, or I'm not doing it. Just notice that's rigid and that is taking you out of integration. That's it. Just aware. You can even, on your own after this call, you can even put that into your counselor's chair and allow that little voice, that little one inside that was taught that she can't do it like other people can, and just hold the space.
So if these things are coming into their minds, the rigidity, what can they do to stop it and get back to the place they need to be?
It's not stopping it.
Okay.
It's just labeling it. Oh, rigid. Okay. And then just go back. And then what I was saying after, that exercise we did, where you can put the little one, because it's a younger part of ourselves. No matter which way you slice it, it's that younger part.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just go through. So I'm going to just invite everybody just to close their eyes for me and just receive a couple breaths. I'm not going to tell you how to breathe. Just allow your breath, feel it rise within your belly or your chest or both. And as you release the breath, give energy back. And do a few of those, allowing the receiving portion and the giving. And we're going to move forward here and just know exactly what you're experiencing is perfect. With focus and intention, notice your focus increasing 10%. Even 20, try that on. Even 30. In front of you, you will see a beautiful door. And I now ask you with laser beam focus to open the door and enter an empty room. Yes, an empty room. Look around this space. What does empty feel like to you? Notice anything that comes forward into your awareness. No right or wrong here. Is there any texture or sensations of any kind? Can you even reach out and feel the surface of the walls? Become aware now of your sense of hearing. Focus on what is coming in to your environment. Is there any noises that are unique to this empty space? Or are you distracted by others' noises? Everything is good. It's whatever arises. What do you see with your eyes remaining closed? Do you notice any flicker of light? Any color? Or is it dark? Sparkly? Or flashes of light? Do you notice any scent within this empty space? Feel the breath entering your nostrils. What do you sense? I now invite you to notice any signals from within your body. It could be your joints, your muscles, sensations within your head, your teeth, your neck, shoulders, arms, upper back, lower back, hips, pelvis, legs, and then our feet. Come up to your intestines and feel into that. Is there any sensations? And then your heart. You may even put a hand on your heart if that's comfortable for you, or just be in the heart. Bring your attention now within this room. There is a new door. Whether you see this visually or just have a knowing and sense of the door, walk to this door and you will see a handle that you can open. Now open it with even more focus. You're now entering this room, and within this room, you will see this incredible vortex of beautiful light and bliss. There's no trying, doing, figuring it out. It's truly a place where you are accepted as is. It is just pure, unconditional love. Just explore just being in this. And if you notice any rigid thoughts or chaotic thoughts, just notice and come back. We are all interconnected to the whole. There is no time here. There is everything, and there's nothing. Just experience the field of silence, bliss, the enormous reservoir of energy and intelligence that is deep within us all. There's no analysis. Any distractions, name it and let it go. Now it's time to shift into the awareness, to connect to all our soul sisters and brothers, whether in fursuits, scales, feathers, or human packages. If you feel drawn, you can even reach out and join together with both hands, or however feels comfortable to you. Is there a specific animal or person you'd like to invite in to this bliss? So with time, I'm going to invite you to just receive a couple breaths and give to this space with your out breath. And know that your higher self can remain in here while your conscious self comes out and goes about the daily tasks. So when you're ready, I invite you just to open your eyes and just check in with your body. Move your toes, move your feet. Stretch if you need to. How was that experience for you, Josh?
It was good. Normally, my mind fights any guided meditation. It tries to do the opposite or just fights every step. But this time, it was, yeah, it was pretty smooth. I didn't have a lot of extra things enter my field. It was very neutral, which is great. It was.
And how did it feel for you to empty that or to enter an empty room? What did that do to your mind at first? Did it bring like, oh God, there's nothing empty, or did
No,
it
was just peaceful because I was able to just leave everything else behind, and in that room with me didn't have to be anything. It just was peaceful. Yeah.
That is going back to being a baby.
Okay.
So just even practicing before you do any communication, just go to an empty space.
Mm-hmm. That's a great idea.
And that last part was expanding into healing, the connectedness. That's how we can do it without telling anybody how to do it. It truly just is.
Uh-huh.
And it's visceral. What did you experience in the last room? What was the difference for you?
It felt connected to everything, not just me in there alone. It just felt like one big connection with everything, but not in a overwhelming way or anything like that. It was just connected.
And so that's why I shared both experiences and how we access that hub or the wheel. So what part do you think was the hub? What room do you think was the hub?
Well, which two parts are you talking about? The hub and the wheel? Or
yeah, like the rim and the spokes, and then we got the hub, which was sort of all possibilities.
That would be the second room, I would think.
You got it. So remember you said, how do we do this? How do we integrate it? That's how you integrate it. So that is the difference in a visceral, I can't just tell you this because it means nothing. Yeah. So that hub was the second room of all possibilities. We didn't tell someone to come in. We didn't tell someone to heal. We didn't tell someone that they shouldn't bark at the postman. It just is holding them, seeing them, being felt. Integration is the key. And then remember I walked through all of the senses? We went through all the senses. We went through the outer ones and how we receive through the five senses, the sixth sense of feeling internally when I walked you through the internal organs and like the stuff that is us. It is the quantum field as well. And then we moved over to the mental, and the mental was also the thoughts, the beliefs, and such. So I didn't focus as much on that because I'm trying to give you a clear space to just sense the inner and outer experiences. And then the last part of it was bringing you into the actual hub, which is the eighth sense, really, which is that interconnectedness and the field of possibilities.
Yeah, I loved how you did it because every single person who went along with this is going to have a different experience. You didn't put something there for them. You let them experience whatever it was that was for them. And that is the realm of just pure possibility, whatever is right for you in that moment. So,
yeah, and noticing when you said, I can't do this, my head is like this, just notice, is it rigid thinking Or am I going sort of chaotic where my head's racing everywhere and I got to get the hell out of here? I want to go clean my toilet bowl instead of do this right now. Like, that's me. Like, I would do anything to avoid.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, this is actually a great example of the quantum field that we set up. This is a great practice for just being.
Mm-hmm.
With a being. And so it's like we're giving them, it's like, come on into my counseling room. I'm not counseling you. I'm truly just showing up for you. And that's what counseling really is. And this is all the latest in, all the hardcore trauma therapy that I'm sharing with you. This is all the latest in that work.
Okay.
So this is huge. Yeah. Very huge to understand. So is that kind of giving you, it's a complex subject, so it's kind of hard in this kind of platform, but did that give you, and be honest, does that give you sort of a rounded wheel of possibilities?
Yeah, that exercise brought it all together for me. It really made a lot more sense, showing, just walking us through that and letting us experience what that is for ourselves. Like you said, you couldn't just explain it.
No.
We wouldn't understand it.
Well, it would be me going top down.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with top down, because we're wired to be, okay, my name's Keri. I'm driving my car now. But have you noticed when you drive your car and you go, oh my God, did I miss my stop? I don't even remember driving the last hour. That's being in here. That's being here instead of up there. So it's the thing is that we have to realize this is connected, and it's that mind body consciousness that we need to integrate because we're in these suits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can see so many people try to keep adding things to the picture, and they just want to include lots of things, steps along the way, in order to feel like they're actually doing something. And you're saying, take those steps away, because you don't need to be doing those things, that you already will be doing it by doing nothing.
Well, and it's like, and is a counselor truly doing nothing? They are integrating. They are actually, they're conscious of everything that they do, in the sense of they're connecting to that individual. Yeah. They are so present. That takes skill to be present to that individual and read the energetics of that. They can sense in through their mirror neurons that, oh, she's having a visceral response in her heart, or she's having this. Like, they can read that, and then they can meet that person at that place. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. So there's so much going on, but it's the presence and the mind-body connection that we really need to get back to. So we're not projecting on everybody and their brother. And I hear a lot of projections, especially when it comes in the animal world. I think, are they talking to them? Are they talking to themselves, really? And we all do it. It's impossible not to. So my suggestion would be less is more. So if you connect to Fifi, don't make a story. So, oh, I seen a red ball. Oh, well, your red ball might go, oh, well, yeah, red ball usually means blah, blah, blah. Don't go into the story. Just go, oh, red ball, and share that with the person. But don't drag it out into a story. And then that dance between the interconnectedness, the linking with that individual, because we're usually talking to the person to validate and to have this connection. So this is the thing is, I think I get a lot of students too, well, I don't really want to work with people. Well, honey, it's all about, we're actually in this vortex of a group. It's entangled more so than just one-on-one like you and I are doing.
Yeah.
So we really have to have that presence so we can gauge this entanglement as well between the animal, the people, and then articulating that and holding space for them both.
Well, how are we supposed to gauge something like that? Does that take more expertise then, are you saying? Or...
Well, we have to get expertise and not projecting and truly showing up and being present.
Okay.
And through that presence, we're receiving that information. Yeah. We even have mirror neurons. Like we are always receiving this, but can we differentiate? So there's a difference between empathy and compassion. We just stick in empathy, we get sick a lot of times. So there's a bridge to compassion where I can differentiate between, oh my God, I'm feeling everything. Yes, that's how I'm receiving it. But then I can go into compassion and go, okay, that's what they're experiencing. I can have compassion and be with them and meet them where they're at. Mm-hmm. And then through that, sitting in that emptiness, like in the rooms, that all the information is there. Okay. But it's powerful. Less is more. There's so much information. That's the quantum field, that quantum vacuum. There's all the information's there, but it's what we put our focus on is where it expands.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so that's why with the quantum field connection that we're working with the animals, the intention, all we're supposed to be doing really is focusing on the intention and supporting that intention with the animal.
or even you might want to do just even envisioning, like say a dog that's got a lot of issues. Like I've been trying to connect with Rainey, or however you pronounce. And it's just like seeing them across, like, just so I'm the counselor, like I'm showing up for you. I don't have to be Mrs. Know-it-all. I just need to show up, and then you're sitting across. So there's a difference between them and myself. So I am not in it. So I then can be of help. It's kind of like taking the oxygen in the flight if it's crashing. So it's like we need to be supportive for ourselves, but also show up and just hold the space for Rainey. Like just like that dog's never experienced someone to care for it. So even just having that, like, oh my God, I'm actually being seen and heard. Mm-hmm. That's healing. That's what counseling, that's what psychotherapy is. That's what trauma work is. Okay. So but you notice as soon as you go, well, how do I do this? How do I get there? Rigid. Okay. Because that means I'm not there. So it's black and white thinking. Black and white thinking is, and look at the states. Look at the world. We are a representation of black and white rigidity. Yeah. Literally. Yeah. With racism that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. But we need the guidance though to figure out how to get back to the non-rigidity. That's why.
But remember, integration, just being aware of integration is integrating. So just being aware is the integration, because you can't pretend it's not there and go, okay, I have self-love, I have love for them, and I have love for myself, that it's okay. It's okay. Name it and let it go. And then name it again and let it go. Name it again and let it go. It's not about I have to fix myself.
Yeah. All right. That makes a lot of sense. If anyone's out there, I don't see any questions or comments showing up, which makes me think that maybe something isn't working quite right. If you do have any comments or questions for Keri, this is the time to ask. You can just do it right below the event and it'll show up for us. I'm gonna just check actual Facebook because I'm on a different system right now. So I'm gonna just check to make sure that it's working, Keri.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and I'll be here.
I won't leave you. I'm just checking on a different screen here just to make sure we didn't miss any questions.
I had to laugh. So Sylvester, my one cat, comes in. He's just an energy junkie. As soon as we tapped into that little meditation,
Yeah.
he was all over everything. He was wanting to get onto the computer. It was just so funny.
Oh, yeah. So this apparently didn't work. There's quite a few comments here. Let me just see if there's any actual questions here.
Have we been going live on the Facebook?
Yeah, it's been live.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's live.
Oh, good.
Let's see.
I wasn't talking to myself. That's a good
No,
thing.
no. I knew we were live. I'm not even seeing all the comments. This has happened before where it's blocked a bunch of stuff. They're there, but I don't know where they are. I can't access them.
You can't access them? Well,
sorry, everybody. If you do have a comment or a question that is not showing up for us, it'll probably
go later. Why don't I go on my Facebook account and see if I can? This happened the last time we did something. It's me, the common denominator. Do you want me to go on Facebook quickly and see?
Only if you want to.
Okay, I'll do that, because if there's questions, then that will be good.
Okay.
To catch it that way. Josh.
Bear with us, everybody. We're wrapping this up on reconnecting to your intuition. And if you are just tuning in now, definitely start at the beginning, because Keri does a great explanation about how this all begins and where we go after age 6, which is really interesting. And then she does a nice meditation in there to get you to the space that is away from where you lose your intuition, and reconnecting back to where we should be when we're connecting with animals or anything else in the world. So I thought it was very, very helpful to walk through those steps, and just like she said, she can't explain this stuff and have us understand it. We have to experience it for ourselves, because that's when we know what it's all about. And for everyone, it's different. So definitely go through that meditation, because I thought it was very, very helpful.
Josh, I don't see questions. It was just comments. So the comments, I think we've made some headway, and I've had this before. It should really be taught in schools.
Yeah,
wouldn't it be so great if this? And a lot of the doctors that I've been studying with, they are really aiming for that, and do work a lot with kids as well. And it's something that we need.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot we need that would help this world.
Let me check one more time to see if there's any questions, and then.
Yeah, so if anybody misses this or catches it later and you have questions, just post below, and Keri will try to check back at another time and see if she can catch you. And if anybody has any other direct questions for her, or wants to check out what she does and how you might work with her in the future, you can check out her website, sacredkinship.com. And she's an animal communicator. She's a teacher, but she goes way beyond the typical offerings, and she delves more into the things that we talked about today, which some people are really interested in, to really learn what's going on behind the scenes to make all of this happen. And so if you're interested in that kind of stuff, she's a great mentor, and she can offer you one-on-one mentoring in that way. And I've known several people who have gone through that and have loved it. So if you're interested, check it out. Anything else, Keri?
No, I thank you everyone for your comments, because it makes it all worthwhile to do this, because that's sort of my passion, is the more we can put this out there, that it is already happening. It's not something that we have to be special for. And I know we hear this over and over and over, but I'm hoping today that it offers maybe a little bit more insight into that. And I want to make a comment too that I really take my hat off that I don't have right now to Josh for putting so much time and energy, because I know that this takes a lot of time and energy, and I could never put together what he does. I can't even write a sentence half the time on a website. So he just has such a knack for putting things together and sharing such, well, you're so visual and kinesthetic and auditory. You cater to all of us.
Yeah.
And I just want to just acknowledge you for what you do, and thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for noticing and for acknowledging. I appreciate that. I do put a lot of it into it, and my background is in marketing and advertising, which I didn't realize how much it would help me in this realm, which I'm now in, because in marketing and advertising, you're taught to focus on the end user. You're always writing to who you're talking to. You want to know, what do they need to get out of this? What are they interested in receiving? What are their interests? Why should they be listening to you? And so my brain thinks that way, and so I'm able to take these topics and come at it from the learner's perspective. What do we need to know? What do we want to know about this? And bring in these subjects that talk directly to what we need. So I'm happy it worked out that way.
Yes, well, it shows, because seriously, I would still be on the first ad. It's just not my gift. I can't even stand even working on my website. It's just not my thing, and I'm okay with it now. I've accepted who I am. It's okay.
Well, like I said, not very many people are doing what you do, so we need everybody doing their own thing, and that's why I love having you on. Just about every practice challenge, we have you on doing something, because you go deeper and take it from a different angle every time that we're not getting anywhere else. And I'm really interested in the deep stuff like this, and I know other people are, and so I love having you here. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Josh. Oh, you know what? I'm just putting this out there. I can't commit because I have an elderly mother that I've been dealing with the COVID nightmare back in Ontario, and I'm out west in Canada. So I don't know. She may have to have surgery now. So depending on that, but I really would like time dependent to maybe have some sort of connection on the quantum connection site, because it's so needed, and Josh, you can see the power and just people coming together with that increased focus alone is so helpful. And I just can't take it all on, but I'm trying to talk to a good friend of mine and have her kind of help. She's from Australia.
Yeah.
And so it'd be great. And she's lovely. And she's an artist. So
what Keri's talking about is the quantum field connection that we were talking about. The last few days during this challenge, we've been working with 2 dogs in this field, and it can't be coincidence that some miraculous things have already happened just after a long time not happening, and then suddenly we start working with this field and the dogs, and suddenly things happen. So we have a group, a quantum field connection Facebook group that you can find through the website, and I can also post below. But if you're interested at all in taking what we just learned today to a different level or to a different place, and to help the animals using the same technique, that's what we do there. And what Keri's talking about is actually trying to do some more regular work with the animals. We have a section on the website, Speak Good Human website, that has animals that you can work with in the quantum field. And we have the Facebook group so that it's a little more interactive. And so definitely check both of those places out. And Keri is talking about maybe putting something on there on the group on Facebook to actually do more of a regular interactive lesson or project. So
But I also will state too that we also need your involvement as well. So
everybody
anyone
out there,
that
not me.
might be interested in, like seriously would be, because even if it's just a few of us, it's just important that because I just can't spend a lot of time putting something like this on there, and it's not really warranted right now if there's not the interest or the focus on doing that. So I'm not sure how that would look. It would be very, it wouldn't be too involved at first and just sort of let it unfold, but just maybe just share your comments and what you might have to offer as well.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much, Keri. Loved having you. Loved the topic. Thank you so much for all the insight, inspiration. It's really great.
Thank you. And again, thank you. And thanks, everybody. This community would not be here if it wasn't for everybody on the call. So thank you.
Okay. Have a good day and night, everyone, and we will see you online.
Bye.
Bye.